Hey guys, so I just wanted to do a review of the Samsung Galaxy S8 phone. I have been using the grey one that I do have here as my main phone over the last couple of days, and I wanted to tell you what I think about the device. Is it the best Samsung phone ever? Should you just go for the standard model here? Is it enough in terms of the battery life, etc.? So I have been using it, as I said, as my main phone, and I was, quite skeptical coming in because of the, smaller battery. It was quite skeptical as well because of the software, because I come from more of a stock kind of Android, but I've got to say the S8 has definitely won me over in terms of several key areas, and we can go through those areas as well as the areas which I think could do with a bit of improvement overall. Now, the first thing that I would say is the actual phone feels extremely refined in terms of the software, which is something which historically Samsung has always butchered in terms of the speed, etc. But in terms of like your app switching, going in and out of stuff, the memory management, it's all on point with this phone, and that is something to be really respected here, because obviously using the overlay of the Samsung experience, which basically takes resources and needs programming, etc. So I'm very impressed what Samsung's been able to do here, actually make for a very silky smooth experience. Is it as smooth as a very stock kind of device like the OnePlus 3T? It's debatable. I have noticed now and again there is a little bit of judder when going into stuff like the multitasking, as well as like going into the camera, but overall you're not going to notice it day to day. I think Samsung's really outdone themselves with the optimization on this particular device, and I think if they're going forward with the Samsung experience, it's not going to be such a bad thing from now on, because historically, as I said, that was what put me off Samsung devices, because it didn't feel quite as refined as the stock like Nexus and Pixel devices. So props to Samsung for making a very snappy phone with zero perceivable lag. Next thing I want to talk about is the battery life. Now, the battery is obviously not as big as I was expecting. I was expecting it to be about 4000 mAh at least, because that's what we're getting with other phones. And I can say it comfortably lasts me a day, no more really, and that is using it from about 8 AM till about 8 PM. Listening to Spotify, everything on, everything syncing, Bluetooth, etc., NFC. So the battery's been very strong overall, considering the size as well as the display size, which is quite a big display here to power. As for just going to the battery settings, maybe we have some information. So you can see, I do use quite a few apps here, and they are taking resources in the background. Probably not as many apps as you use, and you might get, different battery performance, but overall I'm satisfied with it. I think it's stronger than some other phones that I have also tested, such as the Pixel here, which I think comes with a slightly smaller capacity than the standard flagship, and therefore doesn't come with as good battery life, in my opinion, as other phones. In terms of the iPhone, I have actually tried this as well for a day, and it's got quite a good battery life considering how small it is, and I'd say it's about comparable to what Samsung's offering. So I think Android definitely needs to work on its optimization to get it as good as your iPhone kind of standard here, but overall, if you're looking at the battery here, thinking whether or not to get the Plus model, which has a slightly bigger battery, I wouldn't say that's a reason to get the Plus model, other than if you want a bigger display. In fact, I don't actually know what the point of having a Plus model is if it doesn't come with some other features like a dual camera, etc. seems a little bit pointless having that, but relatively satisfied in terms of the battery here. Another thing which I've been really impressed with is the camera, which I was expecting it to be quite similar. And I just find myself, when using the phone, you know, just randomly snapping things and just gawking in awe how good the shots are, you know, just randomly taking pictures of everything in low light, etc. Everything comes out crystal clear. It's absolutely fantastic, this camera. Blows away pretty much everything on the market right now. Could it have been better? Probably. You know, they could have probably made it to 1.6 in terms of the aperture, but then again, you know, I think Samsung's at the point where they're at, like, you know, they're the best at the moment, so they don't have to improve too much. So there's lots of different modes as well, which I haven't really explored too much in terms of the camera, because I do like to just keep it on auto and let it do its job. I did say the other day it does front-facing videos at 4K. What I actually meant was 2K, so not 4K. That would be a bit overkill. But you do get, obviously, you know, your standard manual mode, which allows you to make the most of the camera there. So very good camera experience on the S8. Moving on to the actual feel in the hand using the device. Now, at first, as I said, I was a bit kind of skeptical of having all curved Galaxy devices nowadays, but it's won me over in terms of the build here. It feels very comfortable in the hand, not sharp and uncomfortable like some previous phones like the S6 Edge Plus, as I remember, it was very uncomfortable, but this one feels very comfortable. And because they've really maximized the screen here, you know, it feels good in the hand in terms of how big it is. It makes like the iPhone 7 Plus and devices like that feel like a huge waste of space overall, you know. And I think it's an engineering marvel here. So the only thing which I would say is really annoying is the fingerprint sensor, which I can't understand why they put it there, to be honest, because I find myself, when using it, either, you know, smudging the camera or you know, just missing it entirely. I mean, it's okay if you use it when you're using your right hand, but if you're doing it with your left hand, it feels extremely awkward to put you know, the sensor there. So I think they could definitely improve that for the next one. I think they were planning to integrate it into the display, and that's probably the reason why they did that. Moving on, we do have obviously the Bixby, which I haven't really explored too much actually. I'm a little bit burnt out when it comes to voice assistant technology. I find it to be a little bit temperamental for me. So I'll probably do a dedicated video checking that out, but from what I've heard, you know, it's quite useful. It's better than what Samsung used to do before, which was the S Voice, which sounded very robotic and, you know, terrible really. Some people have been saying that they are getting red tint on their displays, so I have two S8s here, and we can just have a look here at both of them. So as far as I'm aware, when I tilt this a little bit to the edges, I do see it go a little bit reddish, but when you're looking at it head on, it doesn't look red at all. So maybe that you know, something to do with the software or something that Samsung could roll out a fix for. But there's no apparent display issue with either of these, thankfully. So that you know, is good here for those who are worried about that. So I wouldn't read too much into that really. The other thing which is a little bit poor about the device is the speaker positioning, and you know, it sounds decent enough at the end of the day, but I don't know why they just keep putting it down there when, you know, they could have just put it at the edge here and then one at the top, and that would have made a much better speaker arrangement overall, which, you know, that is something to consider for the next one, I guess. And anything else which I do miss as well is the double tap to get into the camera. Maybe there's a different way to do it which I've not figured out yet, but with the previous devices, because you had a physical home button, you could double tap and then get into the camera very quickly. I've been trying to do it here with the force touch kind of unlock, but you can't do it there, so I am missing that a little bit, you know, compared to how it was before. So yeah, I think those are the main negative things. As you can see, you know, I've barely got anything to really gripe about, which is very you know, unlike me for a flagship phone. And that just proves, you know, that the S8, I'd say, is the best phone on the market right now, overall, you know, all things considered, in terms of the camera, in terms of the screen, in terms of everything. It is the best. It's a very expensive device, but, you know, I'd say it's worth every penny at the end of the day. And Samsung's definitely outdone themselves. Whether or not you know, they'll keep up the momentum for the next Note phone, we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they will, you know, implement some improved features, like the things that we've been asking for, bigger battery, and you know, more RAM as well. That would be pretty nice, but they're still on top at the moment, I think, with the S8 overall. I've not even got the S8 Plus model, which, you know, just is a testament to how good just the standard S8 is. But yeah, you know, those are my thoughts in regards to this device. Have I missed anything? I think obviously there's the reception kind of thing. I did take some calls and stuff. I was like on a train, and it held reception extremely well. Compared to the OnePlus 3T, which often jumped in and out of reception, you know, a lot. And I've also done a speed test with the EE version of the S8, which, you know, gets fantastic download and upload score, and does give me the voice over LTE as well. So very good reception as well. I think they've done some nice stuff with the aerial antennas here, like the banding stuff. So yeah, a fantastic phone overall. Samsung's definitely redeemed themselves from the disaster of the Note 7. If you've got any questions, let me know. I hope you found the video helpful. Real user review of the S8, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.